lead thanks to him being able to control his lanes.
Yeah, and at this point, Fnatic has, of course, gathered a lot of momentum as well, heading into this with a 2-0 track record. If they can get another good draft for themselves, a 3-0 is definitely not out of the question, and that would qualify Fnatic for the mid-season brawl. So Leftovers are continuing their path with the Diablo first ban, and especially given the map Infernal Shrines, it makes, of course, a ton of sense since Diablo excels here. And they've been talking about how they feel Breeze is just too powerful. Leftovers this time starting things off with a Malfurion first pick, very good for controlling the access towards the shrine on Infernal Shrines. And Fnatic has played that hero a lot here too. Smexy with a very nice track record, but that could actually lead us now into the first Stukov game of Smexy today.
Now I want to see if Fnatic's going to put that Maiev a little bit higher because he did get banned, or she got banned out in the second phase.
Yeah.
So if they want to grab her, they would have to grab her now because it feels like Maiev might be taken away. And then as you mentioned, that Stukov is great on this battleground, especially in terms of controlling the point. I think if you want a little bit more control, Malfurion with those roots is a good option too, just being able to make sure that no one can come through at choke. But still, both supports very viable here, and I expect to see a support too, as you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, with Malfurion already grabbed by Leftovers, you could head into Stukov early on, or then you just risk him being banned out here. We start with Hanzo, we see Stukov. Smexy is 8-2 with the hero, so very, very solid track record by him. Best Stukov player in HGC Europe from a statistical point of view, and he's going to try and continue the trend here now. Leftovers, they have the next two picks. Then again, of course, with the bans, the question that you asked is going to become valid. Is Maiev being banned out? Fnatic looks strong with her on the first map to an extent where Leftovers immediately said, well, probably should ban her out here. There's still an option for Fnatic to try and play that style. Liquid played it on this map too, trying to get that tether into the silence, and then you can always just follow up with the damage right away to take the target down. So there is a good argument to be made for Maiev being banned out, but first of all, we're gonna see Leftover with their picks. And we could again come back into a Garrosh, into a Johanna.
What about a Leftover second Maiev for themselves? Maiev, Garrosh here on the second and third pick would be pretty clean, good for this battleground. You take away a tool from Fnatic, you put yourself in a really strong spot, and there we go. Leftovers pick it up.
They played her twice, and they lost both of those games. So now they are at least trying to make that work in their favor with Garrosh now taken. But yeah, no ban on Maiev needed, as they themselves pick her. I'm curious if it's going to work out. It's going to be interesting.
It's a deadly combo. I mean, we've been seeing it for a lot of teams too. Liquid's pulled it off. Even in North America, HGC was pulling it off yesterday. When you find a target, they have a very difficult time of being able to escape.
I'm a little bit worried because when you actually fight on the shrine, then the silence on Stukov becomes so much easier to really lock everyone down. Of course, if Maiev tries to target Stukov in the back when he starts with the lurking arm and then tethers him, that could work out. The question is, can you keep yourself alive for that duration? Because from a tank perspective, what I could see from Fnatic is also that they're going into ETC again, which is a hero that they played here too, especially now that Johanna is being banned out. And through the CCs that Fnatic has, with ETC, a power slide into a Stukov silence, I think Maiev could struggle.
Now, what I like about the Garrosh pick here too is that Muradin, who was constantly jumping into fights and dropping Stormbolts, suddenly that becomes a little bit more risky to pull off. With Garrosh being able to toss you after you go for that jump and then Maiev just keeps you there, you can be burned down. So if Muradin comes out once again for Fnatic, which has been the case for Game 1 and Game number 2, we'll have Breeze play a little bit more careful, maybe more of a control type of playing style for that warrior.
I still would expect it ETC to go now.
Yep. 6
times they've played it here. Again, it's a map that they play quite a lot, but they have quite a few games with ETC. I think against this setup, it actually works. They also played it oftentimes against Garrosh himself. You need a bit more damage on the other hand. So that's the question. Probably Quacknick's going to be jumping on the still hero. We could see him. Actually, we could even see Greymane again.
Yeah?
We have seen Greymane by them several times now, and against Garrosh, you can definitely play it. Muradin and Leoric. They really like the Muradin currently for Breeze, and that's, I want to say it's surprising, but it's interesting considering that in the entirety of 2018, they had very limited success with him.
Jimmy.
Okay. Jimmy.
Jimmy.
I mean, casual Jimmy.
Jimmy. So, okay, here's...
There's a couple of ways how you can, of course, play him. So the biggest question with Jimmy now is fair enough.
Okay.
Okay, that just happened. So, and the bird. Okay, so when we're talking about Jimmy, the question that I have immediately is how do you play this? Do you go for Season Marksman on level 1, or do you actually just spec heavily into your Ian? You are trying to make sure that you have more survivability, that even if Breeze locks that Stormbolt down on you and Hanzo comes in with the heal, that you can survive. And then you can grab on the extra armor, of course, on your level 7 talent. So do you prioritize survivability, especially given that you don't have a burst healer, but you have healing over time? Or is your whole game plan here to stack up Seasoned Marksman so that with a synergy on level 13, you are able to just chunk down Muradin? That's one way how to play.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the things to look out for with DAB. He can definitely work in those auto attacks, but I'm a bit worried because we have Leoric with an Entomb available. We have, beyond that, also Muradin, who has then the Stormbolt. So a quick jump with, get the Stormbolt in, silence on top of it, and Jimmy is going to be in a lot of trouble. That's when Garrosh is going to be important. Can he maybe throw the target out? And then, of course, we now have also the Samuro factor that we talked about already quite a bit.
I think it's survivability. That's the way you got to go here, because you have to get through that first initial impact of Muradin jumping into you. He's going to sit on your face, he's going to drop down a couple of hammers, and if you get procced low, at least you'll have that healing coming in. And then, as you mentioned, when Giant Killer comes online with 13, suddenly finally can deal with him. But you have to make it to that point without falling too far behind. Let's go to game number 3 here and find out how Jimmy is going to build, man. It's time to fill the day full of daylight, as Raynor has been picked up by the Leftovers.
Leftovers is on a personal quest. They want to increase the pool of played heroes in HGC Europe.
I mean, they've done it. Chen, Nova, now Raynor.
Yep. Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Leftovers to the left with Podibos on Samuro, Blick Kidney on Maiev, Linked on Malfurion, Lauber on Garrosh, and DAB on Jim Raynor.
On the right side in the red, Bad Binya on Leoric, Quatnix on Falstad, Breeze on Muradin, Mene on Hanzo, Smexy on Stukov, and the Seasoned Marksman is going to be the pickup for Raynor.
So with Seasoned Marksman taken, this is going to be a bit weird, because if they can reach the late game, and Raynor can probably stack Seasoned Marksman, and then after 13 in particular, the auto attacks that we're going to see from him are going to be absolutely devastating to Breeze and also to Leoric. So both of them need to be very careful if that scenario happens. The problem is that if you go into stacking, it also means that you are going to be a lot more vulnerable. The alternative talent with a hero is to go into Give Me More on level 1, where your Adrenaline Rush healing is increased, and then on level 7 you can pick up Fight or Flight, where you get the extra armor when it activates, and you also can activate it yourself for a bit of cooldown reduction. So at that point, it is survivability that is the key, and that makes Jim Raynor a little bit more sustainable in these fights, because his biggest problem is just the lack of any kind of movement tools. So he has the extra range, but once that you jump on him, he has no escape tool ready. And with Leoric and with also Muradin, that could be the downfall of DAB in this game.
Already seeing a little bit of a toss here from Leftovers. Raynor goes through the middle lane, though, and starts to clear to keep out that Seasoned Marksman. Regardless of the way you look at it, Leftovers have to get the late game. That's when Raynor starts to excel. His level 20 coming online too, when he gets that extra range and the attack speed, allows for him to be a deadly force. But until then, targets with high mobility are usually able to jump onto him, and he has a very small health pool.
Yeah, now Linked, Breeze trying to jump in front of Link to get the body blocks in, but that didn't quite work out. DAB with good damage output here so far, but yeah, he needs to be careful. For him, again, stacking is all that this is about now. Mena, on the other hand, tries to get away and he actually escapes. Well done here. Nearly even leading to a kill against Samuro. So good job by Mena with the escape and the rest of his team to shield him from that final attack.
His team was trying to chase him down too, because they wanted to spread the pathogen from Stukov and make sure to get the heal off, but they just couldn't get in range because Samuro was too much of a threat. Now, Leftovers, so far, have made it to the first 2 minutes game without a death, so there they go. Nice progress so far as they move in towards that level 4. But I am kind of curious, how are they going to handle this Shrine phase? Like, their ability to clear it out, decent thanks to Samuro and Maiev, but Jimmy doesn't really bring too much. Single target DPS damage is what he pulls off, so that wave clear is something that's going to be missing. Level
10 is what I really want to see, what happens around that. I actually was a bit curious when Falstad came in, because Falstad is also going into an auto attack build, but I mean, if you play Theorycraft a bit, with Samuro being part of this, I could have seen Falstad going to a mage build and just try to get insane stacks on his level 1 with the Hammerang build.
Yeah.
So that could have been potentially happening. I mean, it is a bit of an outlier scenario, but with the copies around, you normally have a very good time stacking that, and if you do that well, then you have burst damage, and you could use that burst damage after an Entomb, for example.
And it would be safe against Raynor, too. You walk up and drop a Hammering, and then you back up. You don't have to trade with him in auto attacks.
Exactly. So I could have seen a variation in build just because of the scenario that we find ourselves in here. But now with the first Shrine starting, let's find out how Leftovers are going to do here. For me personally, their biggest threat is going to be when Fnatic hits level 10, so that Leorix and Tomb can lock Jim into place. But already DAB doing pretty well at the front, up to the top. You have Fnatic actually pushing very aggressively with their own camp, and Potibos alone is not going to be able to do much about that.
Yeah, Samuro not very good at controlling these night camps coming in. Luckily, the turret's locked onto the summoner there, so that should get cleaned up pretty soon. And Leftovers actually are going to win this first shrine here. 34-1, already pretty far ahead. Quacknix to take a little bit of damage here as Samuro chases him down. But again, he got 2 turrets out of that, so nice experience as Fnatic moves towards that level 7.
Yeah, so Fnatic giving up the first Punisher, saying like, yeah, you can take it. We trade for the wall top, and then we're going to be fine here. DAB, of course, still trying to stack. He's currently sitting at 14 extra damage, so he is actually starting to get that in.
Breeze almost getting locked down there, but the root was aggressive. He's able to sidestep in and jump away.
You know, Breeze has to be careful because, again, as we said before, if he gets locked down at any point in time and DAB gets the damage in, then it's going to be a nightmare. Raynor is, especially in the later stage of the game, a fantastic hit against tanks. But Malfurion falls early on as we see Fnatic coming in for the flank from the side. Now they have a free shot at defending the Punisher. Punisher still takes down the Fountain. And immediately we're seeing Leftovers trying to play the mercenary game camp again.
Fawcett has top lane. He had to use Fly to come down and get that kill, but at least the first kill goes over to Fnatic. And they actually were attempting to steal those Merc camps, but Leftovers back away completely. Volleyball is just being really annoying on the Samuro, and it's going to ramp up as we move towards that level 10. See if Samuro can break open the map.
We actually have at least on the level 7 talent taken that I talked about earlier. So now with Fight or Flight taken over Revolutionary Overdrive, you actually now are in a position where you have the extra armor. And you have, so you have the extra armor and you can activate the talent. So it's actually pretty cool for the survivability of the hero if he gets jumped. But yeah, let's see how much value they're going to get out of Raynor once that the level 10 abilities hit.
Just being able to choose when that goes off makes it so easy to deal with your opponent diving you. One of the main issues with even going with Give Me More at level 1 is that people can actually burst through that healing before it pops out when they hit you at the right target. So being able to hit it around mid life bar or even third life bar allows for you to say, okay, I'm actually going to stand here and I'm going to force a fight and I'm going to deal with you. Do you still want to come at me? And having that control over Raynor makes him feel a little bit better.
He's actually doing a really good job at stacking Season Marksman. We have a lot of lane jumping happening on the Raynor side. He's sitting at 19 stacks now, so that's not really too bad. But again, his massive power spike is going to be that level 13 and later on level 20. Once 13 is hit, whenever Muradin comes in on his avatar, then you just chunk down his hit point pool super quickly. And of course, the Samuro factor is something you would still has to be considered here as well. He is going to play that macro game, and I think it's one of the picks that forced Fnatic more or less to consider a global hero and go into Fawcett as the last pick.
Just to give you a consideration of how well that second is going, it's 22-14 of Fawcett right now. Bad Bane taking a little bit of pressure here in the middle. But Kenny gonna go in, get the auto attack, and Phantom a follow up, and Leftovers secure their own kill. They'll also hit level 10. Hyperion will be the pickup for Raynor.
Yeah, no surprise there. Hyperion, the go-to talent, of course. And also outside of that, for Jim Raynor, we currently are seeing Illusion Masters. We have Fnatic with the Entomb now ready, so nothing really too shocking on their side when it comes to rogue abilities, and it's all going to be about Punisher number 2 now. This is where a lot of the party is going to start happening. And of course, the kills that we're now seeing, the one against Leoric, for example, it really helps DAB with the stacking process as well. Sitting at 23 extra damage on the Season Marksman. And I mean, especially in a late stage scenario, when you are really ending up in a late game, and Raynor all of a sudden is sitting at 50, 60 extra damage on the auto attacks, this is where you just murder people.
Especially with that extra range coming in level 20.
Yeah, and the
they're 10
attack
levels
speed.
away.
Yeah.
If they win another Shrine too, Hyperion can be tossed on top of that Punisher, and suddenly you have a blanket that one reveals vision. And here's the issue with Raynor. If he gets caught out of position, goodbye. But at least he got his R button off.
Yeah, that makes things even worse. So now you don't only have the death, but also you just use the heroic ability, and you can't use it for the Shrine once you had your back. So that was a double loss on the side of Leftovers. That's the problem with Raynor, but as you said, he has no extra mobility, so he's in no position to have an escape path or anything else. And if he gets caught like this on the map, then he instantly dies. And that puts now Leftovers onto the back foot, since Fnatic is taking a massive lead in the minion count on the second Shrine. And it's very unlikely that Leftovers are going to find an angle to contest that.
28-0. Looks like you're about right. Maiev does find a little bit of a wiggle room in the bottom, though. Pushes in this wave, forcing Leor to come on back. Quite takes a bit some damage, but he is willing to barrel roll out instantly if he sees any pressure coming his way. Fawcett playing nice and safe.
Now, of course, another problem with Raynor falling is the more Raynor dies in the early game, the the harder he has it stacking properly on around this quest. So far, DAB, as we said, has done a fantastic job with it. But here comes now the jump once again against Breeze this time. Raynor with good damage, but Falstad with a gust is already elevating the pressure. So we have the camp taken. Polyboss is a bit too late to do anything about it. Once that we had his Illusion Masters coming into on level 10, he also has a bit more flexibility in how he plays this. But here comes Raynor again, being attacked right away. The silence is there, the Hanzo arrow is hitting home, and immediately we're having everybody on Jimmy, and he's down.
Linked also about to fall too with a Sonic Arrow coming out. That's me 2 pickups, maybe a third as Maiev goes in to try and trade out against Mana, but Mana kites into a bush, making it harder to connect that auto attack. And Fnatic has a top lane pushing in thanks to the camp that they grabbed, and Punisher's pushing middle.
That was a Punisher kill though. That was the Punisher just shutting Maiev down and saying like, nope, you're not gonna kill him. Punisher comes in and helps out. But you can already tell what Fnatic is doing. What did they do in the last 2 instances? They jumped on Jim Raynor and just popped everything on him. Entomb, both heroes, both frontliners immediately go for him, and then Hanzo shoots the arrow from the distance, and Smexy has the silence there. And that is going to be a theme that we are going to see more regularly. So exploiting the weakness on the main damage dealer and acknowledging that if they ignore him, he is going to be a big problem.
Good news though, 13 hits for Raynor, and that means Giant Killer is about to come online if he's picking up that talent there. There it is, so should be able to start dealing with that front line a little bit better. So Leftovers are scaling if they can get to that late game. They're still 7 levels away before they really want to be where Raynor excels, but at least they're still in this. They've only lost 2 forts.
So far, Raynor has, by the way, the same damage output that we're seeing from Garrosh, 7,000. So there's very few players that have gotten more. Maiev is on 13k, Samuro is on 14,000, Hanzo is on 17,000. But after 13, this is really where Raynor usually starts to get his damage numbers in against the front line. And I mean, one of the main things with Raynor is you never really want to attack the back line. Your whole job is to sit back and you attack the targets that is closest to you. It's never your job to attack the backline. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you yourself play Raynor, attack the closest targets and always stay at a distance. Your job is to just burn those tanks down. Nice jump here on the Vault of the Wardens with Black Kidney. Good awareness, seeing that arrow coming and making sure that it doesn't take him down.
Still, Black Kidney in a spot where he was making a bit of a weird play. Dropped down his ability to hang on here, as Merton might go in for killing DAB.
Yeah, Link saved him here with a good route once again.
Yeah, Black Kidney tried to actually drop his tether so he could jump away, and then he walked right into the silence and actually realized, oh wait, I actually can't jump to my little Banshee Queen there. Almost fallen victim, but nice little vault to stop on that Dragon's Arrow. 16 about to hit for Fnatic, and they're just looking comfortable. Leftovers on their way to a fight, stepping up while Murden goes straight for DAB, and he is just out auto-attacking him with the Stormbolt. Raynor, you're supposed to be killing this thing.
Yeah, well, the Auric is already down, and here comes the Gus as they're trying to move in once again. Quacknix needs to be careful here, but we have the Scatter Arrows coming through from Hanzo, dropping everybody low, but the Auric trading again with his trade here. And Fnatic is gaining that momentum that we've been talking about. The Auric's going to be come back soon. Maiev, not so much.
Hanzo'd. As Fnatic goes in, gets the kill.
Hanzo'd. Stormbolt here once again. Shove comes out. Get the hell out of here.
Jeremy will give us 4. That's going to be 3 forts down. 16.5 in experience for Fnatic. Leftovers make it to 15, but they are still hurting. Luckily for them, a Shrine hasn't activated yet, so they should have time to stuff that 16, especially with Samuro in the side lanes.
Also, the stacking process of DAB has slowed down significantly. Earlier, he was nearly 10 stacks ahead of Falstad. By now, both of them are sitting on around 33 extra damage. So Falstad is starting to pick that up quite quickly with all the kills that Fnatic is currently getting. And the DAB is still slightly struggling here. But they're starting to really put the pressure on the front line. We saw Muradin jumping on some more on Raynor, but he was also burned down pretty heavily. And Breeze had also to make sure that he gets on 16 stone form, just because he needs that extra survivability. We've seen with Dignitas, for example, running Muradin, that they oftentimes go into the Dwarf launch, making sure that you have better engage and disengage potential. But in this scenario, you need the survivability through stone form.
Fnatic gets a massive push in the middle lane here, grabbing both mercenary camps and heading straight for that keep wall. Leftovers will be to clean that up, and they'll get 16 with it, but we have Fnatic already in a position where they are set up around the Shrine. Leftovers would love to grab this puppy. That way they can get that bottom lane pushing in there and try to get something to occur. 16 talent coming in for Raynor. We're going to get Executioner, which means that characters that are slowed, rooted, or stunned will get additional damage put on top of them.
Yeah, currently also Fnatic with another lead. 10 stacks taken already. And they're just burning through again. Here comes an early Hyperion trying to get at least some control over the Shrine and take the position. And they can accomplish that with it. but can they get the Punisher? That's the question here. Once the Entomb comes out, that's going to be trouble. Nice taunt, Falstad in trouble, moves away, gets a quick gust in, and that so far keeps them alive. Yes, Lauba is low. There comes the Entomb, and he is dead. DAB is still alive, but can he turn the tide of the battle here?
He's trying to. We're going to some auto attacks on Leoric. Leoric with the Wraith Walk, though, goes straight for him, and then we'll have that slow and also the damage reduction. Blakitny moves in and tries to get a couple of Phantom Knives, but he gets nothing done as Fnatic kites him perfectly. And Fnatic will turn their attention over to Malfurion. Linked all by himself will fall victim to a couple of auto attacks and a hammer. That's going to be a 30-25 on the lead for minions on this Punisher as Fnatic will clear it up and push for a keep.
Fnatic with the Arcane Punisher now, and they are going to try and get that keep. They have so much time here. 30 seconds until Malfurion is back, and without the support, it's going to be difficult to defend for leftovers. Fnatic moving in before the Punisher is even there. They open the side wall so they can capitalize on the Punisher stun, but at this point, leftovers, they're looking very much as if they're just accepting their fate here, at least for now. They move back very, very late on the heroes. They were trying to get some extra experience for them, but this keep is, of course, a goner.
Completely destroyed there. The Punisher is still healthy as well. And Domino comes out, but Labra locked down by an Entomb and a Silence. No tank for the leftovers as Mane and crew also continue to chunk forward. They look at Maiev, who's actually down to a quarter health.
DAB, he's low and he's going to fall again. Raynor has just no chance to walk away from this. The slow was there, and then the stun comes through, and now we're talking about core again. Fnatic, they want to qualify for the mid-season brawl, and with a 3-0 victory over the leftovers, that would become a reality. Smexy with a shove, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is it. Fnatic takes the game on Infernal Shrines, and they qualified for the mid-season brawl together with Team Dignitas.
Congratulations to Fnatic, our second team in Europe, the third slot